Hello, hello, hello. Welcome back to Promenade Française. This is the place where we're learning French, an exciting language from the land of Europe. Also, places such as Lebanon, Canada, and Africa have large populations of French speaking people. If you'd like to learn French, continue with me and go through our challenge. And after you finish our challenge, you'll be able to speak French. How do I know? Actually, I don't know because I don't really speak French, but I'm trying. How do you like my advertisement? Okay, it's like really stressful. Actually, I'm getting more and more stressed out because the more that life goes on, the more I'm realizing that there's like more stuff I need to understand, and I don't understand it all. So it's like I want to know everything. It's like I don't know. You know how it is? Maybe not. So so so. I was thinking maybe you could do some Russian studying today. I don't know, maybe not. Um, Anyways, let's share the whole screen before too distracted. Где ты был? Okay. All right. So this is lesson number 7. If you're learning Russian, we're definitely past lesson number 7 in French. So we should be able to go back and look at the study of another language to kind of inform us about the general idea of language study. So, for example, like greetings and first simple phrases, who is it, what is it? So, we got nouns and their gender. Then we got nationalities. Then we got possessive pronouns. Possessive pronouns. Mm, that's interesting. And then we got speaking about time and places. So, these are like some foundational stuff in Russian that's maybe it's handled a little bit differently in French. It is actually kind of interesting. Кто это, что это? Let's take a look. I would suggest probably the greetings, like everybody knows in Russian, Здравствуйте, Меня зовут Klaus. I think that this is the same with French, and it's different with English. Меня. Well, the first thing that's difficult about Russian is that the claviatura, the keyboard, is different. Well, I forgot where that letter is. There it is. Меня зовут. Меня зовут with a U. Yeah, Меня зовут Klaus. Okay, so in Russian, it actually means something different. So in Russian, it means они, meaning they, call me, Klaus. All right, so you see that the grammatical idea here. First of all, in Russian, this is a passive, passive form of the sentence. How do we know? Because this is an object pronoun. This is not a subject pronoun. And also the verb. The verb form is the plural. So first of all, we know that this is a thing. It cannot perform an action, so it is not a subject pronoun. And also the way that we conjugate the verb, it's not related to this. So we're actually missing the subject pronoun. And when a sentence is missing a subject pronoun, then we know it's passive voice. The subject pronoun for zavut is the plural form of to be called. So it actually says Ani zavut minia Klaus. They call me Klaus, or I'm called Klaus. And in French, it is Je m'appelle Klaus, or I me call Klaus, or they me call Klaus. So in this case, we can see that the verb is conjugated with the subject pronoun je. So we're using the reflective verb appeler, and who is the one that's calling me Klaus? It's me that's calling me Klaus. So in French, we say je m'appelle, and it's different than the Russian. Меня зовут, je m'appelle Klaus. It means that in these two different languages, they handle this issue differently. And in English, it's completely different. So in English, we use the concept called mon. Well, let's turn it to the English. Mon nom Klaus. Yeah, you see, maybe there's an A in here also. I don't really know. Mon nom est Klaus. So you can see again, it says exactly the same thing in Russian. Now there is a way to say mon nom. So moё имя. So moё is my conjugated for. Okay, this is another issue with Russian. I think we can move past this first page because that's the only thing it says, just the two ideas. Здравствуйте and меня зовут. And this sentence, очень приятно. I'm kind of interested to know what очень приятно means in French. Très agréable. Очень приятно познакомиться. Yeah, this is it. Ravi de te voir rencontrer. Ravi de te voir rencontrer. Ravi de vous rencontrer. Ravi de te voir. Ravi de vous rencontrer. Nice to meet you. So that's everything. That's the first, and then they go into names, like names in Russian. But that's it. There's only three concepts. Oh, and then they go into professions. Oh, and then they go into personal pronouns. Yeah, interesting. So this is the full first lesson. So if I was learning French, what would I'm learning? I'm learning how to say bonjour and salut and bonsoir, but mostly bonjour and salut. And then I would say je m'appelle Blaine. And how do you say what's your name in French? Kaku vas zavut. Interesting. We've been learning French for like 2 years. I still can't say what's your name. Comment? Rave de te voir rencontrer. Как тебе зовут? Quel genre te... Oh, that's wrong. Quel est ton nom? What is your name? Quel est ton nom? Now, this is important. Quel est ton nom? This is important because look here, mon nom est. You can say my name is, or you can say je m'appelle. So in French, we have two different forms, but in Russian, there's only one form. Как вас зовут? It says, and how you are called. It means, how do people call you? So that's level one. Now, when we get into level two, we're doing names. And why are they telling names? Because they want to explain. Well, of course, because they're asking what's your name, and they say my name is. Now, in this case, we're learning the object pronouns, minya and vas. We jump into professions because once you start learning professions, you have to understand that we have ana and we have on. So how do we say she is and how do we say he is? And in French, we have the same thing. We have il and elle. And then also we discover, oh, wait a minute, we have actriça with the a on the end is feminine form, and acteur with a consonant at the end is a masculine form. And then, oh, we find out what? So doctor, look, doctor doesn't have a feminine form. It only has the masculine form. And I think this is also what happens in French. You start finding out like this one, journalistka. So this girl looks like a journalistka. Well, this website doesn't work anymore. So we find out that this is a journalistka with an A at the end compared to a journaliste. And then we learned the subject pronouns. In French, they would be je, ti would be tu, on is il, ana is elle, ano. We don't have this one in French. This is a neutral subject pronoun. Moi is nous, vous is vous, and ani is il and elle avec s. So there's two different forms of ani in French. And I remember it took me like literally it took me 5 or 6 months before I really got used to nous and vous. Right. So then here we go. We're gonna pull this idea down. Well, it doesn't work anymore, but there is another website that works. The Russian Learn Russian RT. I think it's this one. Or are these the answers? These are the answers. Here it is. GitHub. I think I saw one that said GitHub. Okay, good. It works. There we go. Okay, so we're back. Now let's see if it works. So we got the journalist. So what is she? She's a tennis player, sportsmienka. She is a journalistka. He is a sportsman. He's a businessman, business architect, manager. Maybe he's a manager. Journaliste. Врач. Actrice. Актриса. Актер. Преподаватель. Секретарь. Секретарь. Преподавателя. I think I got this one wrong. Oops. She's a journalistka, and she's probably secretary. Ding ding. Yeah, I got it all right. All right. So where were we? So преподаватель, we find out that this is a on. Journalist is a on. Sportsmenka, она. Acteur is a on. Everything's correct. Now you're supposed to type out the profession. All right, so good. We got through this one. It's good enough for me. Go back to lessons. Lesson number 2. Who is it? What is it? So we're learning morning, daytime, nighttime, and evening and night. Why are we learning these things? And then right away we have some audio. Dobre, whatever. Меня зовут Paul. Очень приятно. Добрый, здравствуйте, хорошо, все хорошо, пока. Now in Russian they have kto это, who is it? Это Maria, Maria, and что это дом. So they say what is it, and then and who is it. So in Russian, anything that is living is a what, or no, is a who. Even animals are who. So for example, if we write like what kind of animal is that? Maybe not kind, but what animal? What animal is that? Maybe not. Maybe this isn't the best way to talk about this. All right, so here we got so we have kto это for a person or an animal. This is a mom, grandma, director, brat is brother, sister, cat, giraffe, and dog, boss, crocodile. And then for what, it's okay. So my question is, in Russian, we ask kto for animals and people, and что, W, что, to, and что for things. What about French? The heck is going on? Okay, losing its mind. Yeah, so yeah, who's barking? Sto is what? French. It makes a slight distinction. So qui, who is used almost exclusively for people, and que, these are used for inanimate object, abstract concept, and for animals. Okay, so it's the same as English. Kto and sto. But what was that other thing? What was the que and qua? What's the difference between que and qua? You're used as a direct object of the verb. What? It comes before the vowel. Que fais-tu? What are you doing? Qu'as-tu dit? Qu'as-tu dit? Qu'est-ce que tu manges? Que cherchez-vous? Cherchez. Que cherchez-vous? Quoi? After a preposition. Quoi de neuf? À quoi penses-tu? What are you thinking about? De quoi parlez-vous? What are you talking about? About what? About avec with what are you? With what do you? Quoi? What? Je n'ai pas entendu. Tu fais quoi? C'est quoi? Je ne sais pas quoi dire. Il y a de quoi manger. Interesting. Yeah, I never noticed that before. All right, so we got il, elle. We don't have this one in French. And il avec s, elle avec s. All right, let's go to exercise lesson number 3. Where are you from? Atkuda. Where are you from? Atkuda ti. Now we put it in French. That's fine. I'll just copy it and paste it. D'où venez-vous? From where come you? And then they go into nationalities. Now there's a difference. So in Russian you can say I'm from this place, or there's like an actual noun. Okay, so let's try that in French. I'm from Canada. I'm Canadian. Where are you from? What is your nationality? I'm from Canada. I'm Canadian. Откуда вы? Какая у вас национальность? Я из Канады. Я канадец. Then we're going to copy this and throw it over here. D'où venez-vous? D'où venez-vous? Quelle est votre nationalité? Je viens du Canada. Je suis Canadien. So it's the same kind of idea. I come from Canada. I am Canadian. Quelle est votre nationalité? This is the same idea. So quelle, I'm not exactly sure what quelle means. It looks like a feminine form of quoi. And also in Russian, it says kakaya because nationalnosti is feminine. So, what is the nationality of you? And it's using the concept of you, and nationality is feminine. And I don't know, I guess nationality in French is also feminine. So they use quel. Now I don't really like these types of, and then they explain that there's two different kinds of verbs. I was trying to explain this in an earlier video that in Russian, they this is how they conjugate a verb. So for example, I have je and tu and il, elle, and nous and vous and il avec s and elle avec s. So in the same kind of thing, just like French, they have like a root of the word and then they change the ending. But in Russian, the roots never change. The roots are always the same. And they only change the ending. And then they only have two types of endings. They have the ending if your verb ends with an a, and then they have another ending if the verb ends with an e. Basically, if it has an A, then they add the A also before this second letter. And if it ends with an E, then they don't add that extra letter. Although with this one, you can see it says rabotayesh. Here they say smatrit, smatrish. So in French, it's way more complicated because the roots can change slightly, and also the ends of the verb can end in many, many, many different ways. So I'm starting to see that French verbs, at least from the very first view, are probably more complicated than Russian verbs. All right, now let's talk about possessive. У тебя есть машина? Еще нет. У тебя есть. Okay, now this is an interesting. The way that they explain this in French is very strange. Tu as une. So you have, in English, it's the same. Do you have a car? And here it says u tibia jest. And remember the u, it means of you or by you or near you, or it's like, or maybe you could say, is it that you have? Is it that you have a machine, a car? Is it that you have a car? But it makes it even more difficult because in French, yeah, okay, so voiture is obviously feminine because it says une. Now, machina, in this case, you see that there's an A at the end, but that's not really, it doesn't make it feminine. So if we put the word car, you can see maybe machina is a feminine. Yeah, okay, machina is feminine. Mm. And here they're showing uh, so there's a difference between saying I have something and saying my. All right, let's go here, back here. So let's say my car, moja machina. Do you have a car? Ma voiture. So again, you can see it says, do you have a car? My car. Now, I don't really want to talk about this though. I just wanted to get through this as quickly as possible. But all right, I can see them already starting to fall into the mud. So we're going to just stay here for now. And we're going to move back to our challenge because I need to get the challenge done. Oh, man. I don't even know, man. Let's just, I already did like 3 hours of work today, so this is a little bit intensive. Let's take a look. OK. Lisez le texte et cochez les bonnes réponses. 根据下面的短文判断对错. OK, so it's just a true or false. Les bons conseils. D'Allemagne digne de Motzchild. What is that? Vous êtes étranger ou étrangère et on vous invite à dîner dans une famille en France. Voici mes petits conseils. Okay, you are a foreigner or what does that mean? Étranger ou étrangère? I guess étrangère must be feminine. You're a foreigner, a foreign male or a foreign female, and on vous invite, and we invite you to dinner dans une famille en France, with a family in France. Voici mes petits conseils. Here's my advice. Offrez toujours quelque chose. En général, on achète des fleurs. Offrez toujours quelque chose. Always give something. In general, we buy flowers. You need to buy flowers. Yes. Vous êtes invité à 20 heures, arrivez vers 8h10. 8h est quart. Avant, c'est trop tôt, après, c'est trop tard. Before it is too late, before it is too early, before it is too late. On peut offrir des fleurs. Il faut offrir des fleurs. On peut... What? On peut... We can offer flowers. You need to offer flowers. Okay, maybe it's not required. I think this means you need to. This means you can. Ne buvent pas d'alcool, ne parle pas à table. Il faut arriver de l'heure précise. Okay, this one's no. Invité à 20h, n'arrivez pas à 20h03. If you're invited at 8 o'clock, don't arrive at 8:30. Yes. Ne portez pas de chaussures dans les maisons. Vous n'aimez pas quelque chose, trouvez une excuse. OK. Ne quittez pas vos chaussures. Ne quittez pas vos chaussures. What does that mean, ni quitter? Always offer something, generally buy people flowers, arrive around 10 past, quarter past. Before that, it's too early. After that, it's too late. Do not take off your shoes. Okay, that's what I figured it was meaning. N'y portez pas de chaussures dans la maison. Oui. Vous pouvez refuser un verre de vin ou d'alcool, mais pendant le dîner, en général, il faut tout manger. Vous pouvez refuser un verre de vin. You can refuse a glass of wine or alcohol. But pendant de les dîners, en général, il faut tout manger. You can refuse a glass of wine or alcohol, but during the dinner, generally, you must eat everything. You must eat everything. You must everything eat. Vous n'aimez pas quelque chose, trouvez une excuse. Ne buvez pas d'alcool. Don't drink alcohol. You cannot drink alcohol. That's false. Ne parle pas table. That's obviously false. Vous n'aimez pas quelque chose. Trouvez une excuse. Vous n'aimez pas quelque chose. Vous n'aimez pas quelque chose. Le poisson, par exemple, ne dit pas je n'aime pas le poisson, mais excusez-moi, je suis désolé, je ne peux pas manger de poisson. So it doesn't actually have this in here. Ah, yeah, you need to find an excuse. Vous n'aimez pas quelque chose. No, it doesn't. You don't have to have an excuse. You just be more polite when refusing. Okay. Excuse me, I'm sorry, I cannot eat fish. Do not eat noisily. Ne mangez pas manière bruyante. Le cuisinier ou la cuisinière vous demandez comment vous trouvez ma cuisine. Ça va, mais c'est excellent, c'est très bon, merci pour le repas. Okay. So you have to flatter people. All right, we're done with that one. La manière de l'exercice précédent, écrivez un petit texte dans un magasin France. 以下一个练习中，短文一例，给一份法文杂志写篇小文章。Les bons conseils de vous êtes étranger, vous recrutez des mères en famille, or voici mes petits conseils. So it wants you to write a magazine article. Blaney Bobs, you're cheating again. That's true. I've had just about enough of this. It looks like that, right? So, les bons conseils de what? Vous êtes rechangé vos invités à dîner d'une famille. Oh, Yeah, so they're just changing the country. One way to do this is to actually write it in English. Conseil, vous êtes Canada. There we go. Petit conseil. It's the same. Stays clear. Canada punctuality. Shoes. Helping. Food. Compliment. Conversation. Yeah. All right. Now, as you can see, yesterday and today, I've been pretty tired. I've been working on some other things, which is creating a situation where overall I haven't been putting as much effort into learning, and I'm certainly not putting any effort into practicing. I'm still just basically reading. And I know that this isn't a very good habit, and it's likely that I'm not learning much from this. But if the choices are either keep the habit and just don't try so hard, or try hard until you get totally burned out and then quit, I think it's better just to keep the habit. All right, vous êtes étranger ou étrangère en vous invité de dîner dans une famille au Canada. Voici mes petits conseils. Apportez un cadeau, une bouteille de vin, des chocolats ou des fleurs sont appréciés. Demandez si vous n'êtes pas sûr. Soyez ponctuel si vous avez arrivé. Yeah, exactly. Enlevez vos chaussures en train. C'est un costume très fréquent au Canada. Regardez si les hôtels d'autres invités le font. Demandez simplement. Enlevez. I don't know about this. Take off your shoes in Canada. I don't know if that's true. Maybe it's changed. Offer help. Proposer d'aider. Après le repas, offrir votre aide pour débasser la table, offrir la vaisselle et un geste sympathique. Goûter. Yeah, you don't have to eat everything. Goûter un peu de tout. Il est volé de goûter un plat. Yeah, good. Complimenter la cuisine. Dis à votre hôte que vous appréciez le repas. C'est délicieux. Merci. Fait toujours plaisir. Good. Conversation. Add small point about engaging in conversation. Participer à la conversation. N'hésitez pas à poser des questions et partager un peu sur vous. Les Canadiens sont généralement ouverts et amicaux. Good. All right. I like the answers. Still not enough about producing actual sentences, but at least we're keeping understanding sentences. That's good enough for today.